During our July virtual UX conference, Jacob Nielsen held a Q&A session. He was asked to describe his hopes and concerns for the field of UX as we all adjust to a post-pandemic reality.
I think mainly I do have a lot of hopes because I think that the need for our work is even more so the case now, that more things are virtual, more things are computerized, and also as new processes have to be invented or designed, you might say, to do things in different ways. And so, for example, service design, which is one of our big issues we talk about at the conference here, that's really important, and that's a way you can design these services to work better than they did in the past, and for sure better than they would have if people just say, oh, let's just put a camera up. Well, that's just the first step. You've got to actually do much more than that. For, let's say, telemedicine or any other application, really, you've got to think of it as a service design problem. And also, of course, anything that you do on the screen, but that's classic user interface design. And we need to really enhance our collaboration technologies in companies. So there's a very, very large challenge there. And challenge is opportunity, right? It's just two ways of thinking about it. So really big opportunities for good UX work in helping companies really become more productive under these circumstances. So this is a lot of internal work in IT departments in doing better digital workplace support in this environment. And also, of course, in terms of products that are being developed for the open market. I mean, we are using Zoom right now, and it's nice. I mean, honestly, it's better than it was before. That's why we're using it for this conference. But you can also still tell it's kind of primitive, and much more could be done. And again, that's our opportunity. At the same time, I think there's also some downsides or some fears, I would say. One is just simply that we are in a bad recession, and I'm sure some people will lose their jobs as a result. I'm actually not that worried about that specifically for UX people, because this is such a growth field that there's going to be other jobs. So yeah, people will lose their jobs. Some of us will, but then other jobs will be there for us. Other disciplines are in much worse trouble in that respect. But where we are a little bit in trouble, on the other hand, is that our field relies so much on that tight connection to the users. And I do have that fear that we might lose some of our user contacts now that we are in isolation. And we can do a lot of great work remotely. We actually have, at our next conference, we have a course on remote usability testing that Kate is actually teaching. So a lot of things we can absolutely do and stay in touch with our users. We have to remember to do that and not just be isolated. Then there's also all our creativity type of things, all these inventions that we have to do. And again, that can also be supported in a virtual environment. But I do feel a little bit that we're not always getting quite the same as in person. So there's, I think, some fears there. We're just going to be aware of that and work that much harder to overcome them, and be sure to stay in touch with our users, be sure to have creative meetings with our colleagues, and then, as I said, fulfill this vastly enhanced demand for user experience, for service design, for all the things that we know how to do, are becoming they're always a big part of the world economy and of growing businesses, but it's even more so now that basically almost everything has become virtual and is driven through a user interface. So it's not just even a user interface; it's like the interface to the world economy, you might say. And so it's our job to enhance that, and that's a great opportunity, I think.